Hey, how you doing, cunts? You doing alright? I'm doing pretty alright. How are you? Now, I've been trying to script this video for the last several days, and I can't do it. So instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off the cuff, speak just with no teleprompter or anything like that. Hopefully, what I say makes sense by the end of this. And what I want to talk about today is the regressive left, because I've seen a lot of people comment on my videos saying that they don't know what the regressive left is. What exactly is it? Does it even exist? A lot of people are convinced it's fake. A lot of people are convinced it straight up doesn't exist. I just want to clarify what the regressive left is so that we can actually have conversations about it moving forward. Because I'll admit, it is a confusing topic. So let's start with the first part of it, regressive. And regressive is pretty straightforward. It means to become less advanced or to return to a less developed state. Now, a good example of a regressive idea would be the segregation of classrooms based on race. We did that in the 1900s and we progressed away from that. So to reinstate an idea like that would be a regressive idea. It would be returning to a less developed point in time. And left simply means liberal, left-leaning, member of the Democratic Party. That's really all it means. That's not the complicated part of the definition. So to put it simply, the people who make up the regressive left are people who use traditionally liberal positions to justify or advocate ideas that would ultimately be regressive. Now, I don't want to beat the violent video games dead horse more than I have to, but it really is a great example of this kind of thinking. Anita Sarkeesian is a feminist critic who essentially claims that sexual imagery in video games lead to sexual violence or sexism in the real world. Now, Anita Sarkeesian is a liberal, make no mistake about it. Concern over sexism is generally a liberal topic, and by the way, justifiably so. There are legitimate cases of sexism that do need to be addressed, specifically in the Middle East and the Muslim world. The concern over sexism isn't the issue. The concern over sexism is totally fine. No issues with that at all. It becomes regressive though when we look at it through the lens of video game hysteria, because we've already had this conversation before. In the 1990s, in the 2000s, we've been over this a million times. There's tons of data, there's tons of research that proves that there is no correlation between video game violence and real world violence, or video game sexual imagery and real life sexual violence. There's no correlation whatsoever. Now that's regressive in a couple of ways, right? Because not only is it reverting back to the anti-video game hysteria of the 1990s, it's also taking the scientific method, scientific research that we know to be true because we put our trust in the scientific method, we believe in science, and it's taking all of that and saying, you know what, that doesn't fit our ideology, so it must be wrong. I've already made up my mind. Video games do cause real world violence. Video games do cause real world sexism. And if your science doesn't back up my preconceived notions, my own ideology, then it doesn't count. That is so regressive, I can't even describe it. Although I think I kind of just did. Now, do you guys remember that example I gave earlier about segregating classrooms and how that's a regressive idea? Well, here's Anita Sarkeesian arguing for that very thing because she thinks segregation is good for children. Now again, this idea comes from Anita's liberal idea that race and gender issues should be taken seriously and should be paid attention to, which again is fine. Nobody on the left disagrees with the issues. Where the disagreement comes in is the solutions to those issues. Rape is a heinous crime and we need to make efforts in convicting those guilty of it. Absolutely. Therefore, whenever a man is accused of rape, it is important that we treat him as if he is guilty until proven innocent. No, absolutely not. See again, the issue and the concern is totally valid, but the solution is ridiculous. It would be a positive thing for more women to get into the tech fields. Sure, yeah, that would be great. So we must establish quotas to ensure that more women are hired regardless of whether or not they're more qualified for the job or not. No! See, these are things that are actually happening. It's like the concern. The idea is like, I'm on board, I understand. Sure, I would love to see more women in tech. I would love to see more women in tech. That's a great thing. But then to say we must now force women into tech even if they don't want to, or we should establish quotas instead of hiring based on merit, that is not the right way to go about it. Muslims face a lot of discrimination in the Western world. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I've seen that with my own eyes. So what's your solution? Oh, well, it's simple. All we have to do is make sure that anybody who criticizes Islam is branded an Islamophobe, a racist, every horrible name you can think of under the sun, and it's important that all their work is discredited by every single mainstream media outlet. What? It's insane, right? It's insane. You wouldn't believe that these are the positions that people have, but they totally are. It's amazing. Anyway, I hope this video did a decent job of explaining exactly what the regressive left is and the difference between just a regular liberal and somebody who's a part of the regressive left. This whole thing was unscripted and it was basically just me rambling, but, hopefully it came out alright. And that's about it. That's all I have to say. That's it. I'm done. I have completed my to-do list for today. Done. Video's finished. F*** you.
Hey, how's it going, cunts? So for those of you who don't know, the Ghostbusters trailer came out a day or two ago, and basically everybody hates it. Look at the like-dislike ratio on that. There are literally videos of Hitler screaming about the decaying corpses of his enemies that have a better approval rating than this trailer.